Thank you. All right, so can everyone see the PowerPoint slide?
Yes, looks great.
Uh-oh. All right, you guys are able to see that transition? All right, awesome. So now I'm going to do my best to do closed caption. I'm trying to be more ADA compliant. And it may not pick up my voice well, but we'll work through it. So first off, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. We are going to be talking about submitting for success, tips on submitting awards, and this is on behalf of the NACAA Communications Committee. So for those of you that are not familiar with us, I want to introduce myself and then I'll turn it over to the rest of the chairs. My name is Brittany Council Morton. I am the National Committee Chair. I also work for UF IFAS Extension here in Volusia County. So that's here in Florida, the Sunshine State. And I'm the Urban Horticulture and Master Gardener Coordinator. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Daniel Leonard.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. My name is Daniel. I'm the Southern Region Communications Chair. I reside in the Panhandle of Florida, work for the University of Florida IFAS in Calhoun County. I'm in kind of a one-man show, horticulture, agriculture, natural resources, real small county, and happy to be here.
All right, Miss Erica.
I'm Erica Bierstrom. I'm the North Central Region Chair, and I'm with the University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension. And I am a regional dairy educator in Brown, Door, and Kewaunee counties, which is in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area. And we have about 120,000 dairy cows in my 3 counties, so I have a lot of dairy to cover.
All right, Miss Iris Mays.
Hi, yeah, so I'm in North Idaho, also in a panhandle, and I'm the Western Region Chair, and I'm with University of Idaho Extension, Latah County, and my focus area is horticulture and small farms.
Okay. And our other committee member is Ms. Laura McDermott. I believe she had another meeting at this time. She is our Northeast Region Chair. She's with Cornell University, and she's also the Regional Berry Specialist. So now you guys know who to go to. So first we're going to start with the outline. So we've already did our welcome. We did our committee overview and introduction. We'll move forward with deadlines and quality abstracts. And then we'll go over the different categories for communications. And then we'll wrap up with questions. Daniel, Erica, and Iris, do you guys mind keeping an eye out on the chat? And then what I will request is if you can just post your questions in the chat while they're on your mind. I don't want you to forget, and we'll come back at the end and make sure that we answer those, okay? So for those of you that are new to NACAA, the Communications Committee falls under Program Recognition Council, and that also includes a recognition and award, search for excellence, professional excellence, public relations, and ag awareness. If you want to know more details about all of the communication categories, we have 13 categories. Typically, that information is always going to be in the December edition of the County Agent, and oftentimes it's going to be pages 9 to 10. So make sure that you check out that information. If you're new, I advise you to become a state chair or regional chair, get involved and active in the association, so that way you can get a feel for it and figure out what you want to do and where you want to be. A lot of us need these professional associations for our promotion packets. So you want to make sure that you're networking with people. You might have to have them review your packet, and you want to make sure you network with people in different states so you have a good pool. All right, so guess what? Majority of all awards are due March 15th. That is the easiest deadline because everybody's deadline is pretty much March 15th. For communications, you want to make sure all of your stuff is submitted to your state chair. It has to be submitted into the system by March 15th. So if you need help with anything, if you don't understand what the guidelines are, if you have questions about the abstracts or questions about the scorecards or how you're going to be scored, make sure you reach out to your state chair, your regional chair, myself, prior to March 15th. We are here to help you. We will help you in any capacity before the deadline. Once March 15th hits, there's pretty much not much we can do, and our hands are tied. So the state chairs are going to confirm their awards by April 1st. Regional chairs and regional finalists will be selected and approved on the website by April 15th, and national finalists are selected and approved by May 1st. I want to bring your attention to a national winner will not be announced until the Communications Awards luncheon. So you want to make sure that if you are listed as a national finalist, you register to attend the conference at least one day. So that way you can go ahead and get that certificate. Make sure that you adhere to the absence policy and that you communicate in advance if you're unable to attend the conference. Another thing I wanted to bring to your attention is our website has kind of gone through a revamp over the years. So what you see here is just how your award or application should look. If you're doing computer generated presentation with script, you want to make sure that you list all of your team members. Make sure everybody's name is correct, their titles are correct, because their names go on these certificates as well. And the worst thing you want to do is have someone's wrong information and then they're asking if you can reprint the certificate. Ask us how we know. The other thing you want to make sure you do is there are 2 boxes that are circled in red. You want to make sure you check both of those boxes. Your application is not complete until both of those boxes are checked. The scorecards are accessible to everyone. We strongly encourage that you look at the scorecard for each category that you're going to be submitting for, so that way you know how to craft your abstract based on exactly what you will be scored for. So now we're talking about sealing the deal on quality abstracts. So the abstract we have below is for the 2021 Newsletter National Winner. And what you see here is it's broken down by background information, author development, purpose and objective, highlight pieces, all of the key components that the abstract is looking for. So again, however you choose to craft your abstract, whether you do paragraph form, whether you bullet by the actual topics or subtopics, is totally up to you, but you want to make sure that you are answering the information that we are requesting for the scorecard. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Iris Mays as she covers the next set.
Hi, yeah. So just as a piece of trivia, I did win a national award for the notebook learning module. And so it's really important just to get started right now. If you are planning on applying for an award, or if you're helping your state members apply, you want to log into the NACA website and start reading these communication award, the information and instruction that you can see right here. Just a moment. Okay, and then when you scroll down, you will see on the next slide how to get to those scorecards. So if you scroll all the way down, we have one Word file that has all the scorecards combined, and that's kind of to help the judges. But for you, if you're just applying in one category, you just need whichever category you're applying to. So for audio recording, this list of bullet points here are the things that are in the instructions. So these are the things that are not on the scorecard. So you have to look in 2 places. One is the audio recording information, and then also the scorecard. So these are sometimes repeated in the scorecard, but often not. So you need to look in both places. And this is what the scorecard looks like. So you know you've gotten to that Word file when you see this. And so you can see the different points here, possible points for each category. Every scorecard is different. And so for each category, and so this is where you want to see if you have that content. If you don't mention it in the abstract, we may not know. And then if you're picking your 15 minutes that we're going to judge, or that the judges will judge, if you're picking that 15 minutes, you want to pick 15 minutes that answer to these points here. Okay, so the first piece of criteria for audio recording, just as an example, the content. Does the program contain useful information? Is sufficient information given so listeners can use it? Was there good reason for discussing the selected subject at the time the program was aired? Will it interest a majority of the audience? Was information localized and appropriate? And so for each category, we're going to have questions like that, and the judges will be reviewing your audio recording to answer those questions. So the main tip for audio recording, if your recording, such as a podcast, is longer than 15 minutes, you must indicate in your abstract which 15 minutes the judges should listen to. So if you send in a 45-minute podcast, you may get a state award. At the regional level, you will be disqualified because we have too many different applications to spend that time. We're not going to ask judges to review an unknown amount of time. So you have to specify that 15 minutes. Moving on to photos, which are super fun. And these are photos that get published. I just included a cute cow photo here. They're cute. So this is the first category on the scorecard, is storytelling ability. So you can kind of see in this photo, this is not necessarily an award-winning photo, but just an example of how you can see something's happening. And so if this was for a certain topic, you know, it would be telling a story. And so you want to answer these questions. So again, just the rest of the photo category scorecard criteria, you're going to answer these questions, and then you want to look and see, just to get familiar with the scorecard, you can check to see how many points for each of those categories. So for computer generated presentation with a script, it's a maximum of 50 slides with a script. And so you want to upload that into PowerPoint or in a PDF format. Excuse me. So this is something that can be created in different software. It doesn't have to be a PowerPoint, but it should be slides. Please do not submit a video recording of the presentation. And then we have this limit of 25 megabytes, and sometimes we are able to, if it is larger than 25 megabytes, I think that we're trying to address that. So don't not apply just for that reason, but maybe if you can make it into a PDF, that can make it smaller. And this is the scorecard copied over here. I will say the main thing that I have seen for disqualifications is that people don't submit a script. They're in a hurry. It's March 14th or 15th, and they just submit their PowerPoint slides. You may win a state award, but you will be disqualified if you don't meet all of those basic components. It's in the title that you need a script. I believe the script can be in the notes of the PowerPoint, but it's easier for the judges if it is copied into a Word file. So, so those are the categories that I was covering. Thank you.
All right, so I have the next package event promotional package, and you can submit up to 3 methods. So you can do different things like a flyer or even a quick TV spot or anything like that, and make sure that you don't put more than 1 type in there. So 1 of each, but you don't have to do 3. You can do 2, but you know, if you have 3 that are solid and good, you can have all 3 of those submitted as well. And again, like where it's circled here, promotional flyer, program agenda, whatever you have that promotes that event. I find that in the past, I've been a national finalist on this, and I think maybe won once. If you have a variety of different types of media, that does definitely appeal to the judges more so than if you have just all written or all just kind of static present or promotional items. Personal column. So the personal column, you submit, the one thing that you really need to remember with the personal column is to submit your original and also your final print of what you've submitted. So submit the scanned copies of the final articles in an abstract, indicate the dates of publication. So again, make sure that you do submit a PDF of the original copy, because sometimes things do get changed a little bit between when you submit and how it's actually printed in the media. And then the feature story article. So feature story it can be, and I know, and in some cases, at least we've done here in Wisconsin, where people have submitted to the same publisher. So say, for instance, the Wisconsin Agriculturist, if you are, you submit more than one article in a year, we have submitted those as a personal column, whereas opposed to the feature story article, it's just one story, one article. And that's where you are the guest writer for a publication. And again, with this, really important, and this is something that a lot of people forget to do, is make sure you submit your original copy and then a copy of, or a scan of the original print. So the original article that you wrote, and then an actual copy like they have here in this image of what it looked like when it was in print.
My turn. What's going on, everybody? So we've got next category is newsletter, and my pictures don't pertain to communication awards at all. These are just things that are blooming here in Northwest Florida. I thought I'd make y'all up north jealous a little bit. It's my favorite Camellia Royal Velvet, in case anybody's interested. So newsletter. You're going to need, like a lot of the other stuff, you're going to need PDFs of those 2 different issues of newsletters. One thing to note, it can be 1 or more members. It doesn't just have to be you, because you may remember, those of you who have been here a little while, a couple years ago, we combined the individual newsletter and the team newsletter into one. So it can be your own personal newsletter, or it can be a team newsletter. It does not matter. Also, a thing to note, non-NACAA members may be part of a team entry. So like if you've got a regional ag newsletter or something, and you've got, USDA people, or, your state Department of Ag that also participate in that newsletter, that's totally fine, and they can be in there. Newsletters can contain several unrelated topics. It doesn't have to be topical, all pertaining to the same topic. Again, it can be a portion of a larger newsletter, like an area extension newsletter. It can be your portion of that. And again, in the abstract, there are a couple things we need to look for. First is audience, who the newsletter is sent to, the dates and number distributed, and how distributed. And that's basically, as far as the newsletter goes, that's going to be kind of your results, your outcomes, that sort of thing. Question, our newsletter is sent out only via email. Can we submit a digital newsletter? Absolutely. And that's the most common one submitted these days. There aren't that many print newsletters left. And I do have the scorecard pulled up here. And just kind of for fun, content is 30 points, readability is 30 points. So it needs to obviously have good content and be easy to read, not complicated in terms that lay people could understand. But then note that appearance is 25 points. So while content obviously matters, readability matters, how it looks matters too, because especially for these digital newsletters, there's a lot of competition for your eyes out there. And so it's got to be eye-catching for sure. And as always, abstract is going to be 15 points. So your abstract has to be good. That's a big tiebreaker. Moving on, I think. There we go. Yeah, there's my orange and blue violas that are blooming on my back deck currently. So that's that. Educational video recording. Sorry, I missed the AL on education there. So like the audio recording, this is going to be one educational video. It can be by 1 or more members. And again, like the audio recording, not more than 15 minutes long. If it's more than 15 minutes long, you've got to tell us what part you want us to judge. That's going to be critical. Like Iris, I believe, said earlier, if you submit a 17-minute thing and don't tell us what to judge, I'm not even going to grade it. So you didn't follow the rules. The abstract here is going to include audience, purpose, the date first posted. That's important. It has to be used, between March 15th and March 15th of the current year or the past year, and how the presentation was used. In your abstract, this is where you're going to link your video. It can be a hyperlink, anything like that. Or if that's not something you want to do, you can certainly upload an MP4 file. And in your abstract, you are going to need to describe your contributions to the final product, because oftentimes we may appear in the video. Your voice may be in the video and you don't even appear, or neither of those things may be true, but you're responsible, for editing and publishing and that kind of thing. And that's totally fine too. But if you're not in there at all, I can't hear your voice, nothing like that. I do need to know that you were involved somehow other than just writing the thing, writing the abstract. So tell us what you did. And like some of these others, there is a 25 megabyte maximum file size. So that does kind of put somewhat of a cap. And like Brittany said there, if you have something that say a longer video, you could say your part starts at 7:32 and concludes at 17:32. And that way my judges know exactly what they're going to be looking at. And that'll help them for sure. Are all materials to have been produced March 15th to March 15th? Yes, I believe that's correct. Or correct, Brittany? Now, search for excellence, a lot of those are like the past several years, it says, but for communications, it's all the current year, March 15 to March 15. And this is just an example of the abstract that won last year. Notice the abstract is one paragraph. It specifically states one paragraph in the abstract rules in the county agent and online. So get everything in there in one. And just fun fact, if you want to see the award winners, that's pretty helpful. You can go onto the NACA website under awards and you can see award winners, and it goes back for a number of years. You can see regional finalists, national finalists, state winners, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to know what the competition's supposed to look like, it's a good way to do it. And there is my sweet Alyssum Snow Princess showing off. So that's a great one. Fact sheet is an educational piece on a single subject. All right. So single subject. The big one here is we don't want to exceed 4 pages total. All right. And what do I mean by 4 pages total? I mean, if it's a front and back, that's right. 2 pieces of paper, basically, right? So 4 computer pages. If it's printed, it's going to be 2 front and back. In the abstract, we do need you to indicate the audience, the purpose, and the number distributed, kind of standard there. And you're going to submit as a PDF, or if it's like an online link, you can include a URL or a hyperlink in there. But we do need a PDF of the final project, but you can include a URL there if you want us to see kind of where it was published, and that's totally fine. And once again, I pulled up the scorecard for that because it was kind of an interesting note I want to make there. Let's see, fact sheet. And so on fact sheet, unlike what we've looked at previously, design and appearance is actually what's weighted the highest. So 35 points for design and appearance. So above all else, so to speak, these got to look good. They've got to be easy to read, all of that kind of stuff. And then content and readability are both 25 points there. And then the abstract is the standard 15. Again, so it's got to be pretty. It's sort of a beauty contest, though the content obviously has to be good as well as the abstract. So next slide. And this is our national winner last year. Equine stuff tends to be pretty. I don't know why that is, but we get a lot of really pretty equine fact sheets and that kind of thing. And this is one from Brittany Kirkland of Penn State Extension and Carissa Wickens of the University of Florida, amongst some other people. Horses and soy. And you can see it's kind of a front and back, a one-pager about horses and soy, benefits of soy. It's really pretty to look at. Somebody like me who's ridden a horse once in my life can read it and kind of understand it, so that's good. That's what we're looking for. They've got their citations in there. That's really nice. All right, next slide. Oh man, red maple blooming. I know this is native all over the eastern United States, but they are currently blooming here in Florida. So that one's a really pretty one. Publication. This is an educational publication on one or more subjects that's 5 pages or more. So it's basically a fact sheet that's longer. All right, fact sheet is 4 pages or less, those 2 pagers front and back. Publication is really anything longer than that. We do get a wide range of things submitted as publications because of that, because it is so broad. In the abstract, again, you want to indicate your intended audience, purpose and number distributed, agent and educator's role in development, again, because publications in particular are often going to have a bunch of authors. You can see the et al. On this. And so we do need to know what you did in this. And it doesn't have to be the primary author, but we do need to know what you did. Writing, production, all that kind of stuff. You submit this as a PDF, or you can include a URL to the publication in the abstract. Because I do know many of these things, are published on university websites and that kind of thing, and it's not super readily available as a PDF, and that's okay. Again, 25 megabyte maximum size, and that's pretty standard for all this. And there can be several publications on various subjects that are kind of combined into one thing. So that's something to note there. Next slide. And this is just an example of a national finalist. from Iowa State. I don't love that abstract because it's not one paragraph. So, but other than that, it looks good. He's got all his, got all of his attachments there. Everything's like it's supposed to be. Got good results. Got what he did. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And now I will turn it back over to Brittany, I believe. Hope y'all enjoyed the flowers.
And another thing I wanted to comment on about this particular abstract, they were the national finalists, but this is one of those situations where they had multiple subject matter publications that all consist of being exceeding the 5-page limit. So there you go. If you want to break it down like that, you can. If you want to just have it as one overall publication, you can do that also. All right, so for website online content, so here in Florida, we have a wonderful thing called blogs that we have to do. And guess what? That can be considered online content. So you want to make sure that you have the URL in your abstract. The material must be publicly accessible content that doesn't require a password. If it requires a password, it is not publicly accessible. Therefore, it cannot go into this category. Because what you're going to basically ask is for every single person that comes to this page has to have a login. Excuse me. It can be wikis, blogs, social media sites. So your Facebook page, your Instagram page, Twitter or X or whatever it's called, you can use those as well for website online content. Now, for this particular entry, I personally like how they did their abstract. They broke it down, purpose and objectives, get to the point, audience, distribution. So those are all the things that they're going to be judged on the scorecard, and they made it a point to pinpoint that information out specifically so the judges know what we're looking for. So for learning module or notebook, this can be your Canvas websites, a Master Gardener book, a Master Wildlife book. Maybe you're doing a dairy training class and you want to have that information. So it can be set up as that as well. Significant portions of the entry should be the work of the entrant. Okay, so if you are going to be the one submitting it, you need to have a lead role on this project. This is where if you have login information, you must provide it to the judges. As we move up in the judging process, we share this information with our judges. So please make sure that is included in your abstract. You can make it a PDF page, a Word document, just make sure it's linked in there so we have access to it. If this is something that you have to send in to the state chair, you want to make sure that it is postmarked prior to March 15th, okay? They have to get their judging done by April 1st. So if you're sending it after March 15th, you're kind of cutting it close with them getting it in to judge. So this was the national finalists. They had their, they gave us the email access, they gave us the password. I checked on this earlier today just to make sure it works. It still works. And you can also access this on the NACAA website. So if you want to check it out. Bound book or ebook. I know everyone is very familiar with Mr. Gary Bachman. He always sends like the most amazing stuff. Everybody sends awesome stuff, but I love looking at his stuff. But he did a book, which you can find online. You can purchase it. And again, if it has to be mailed in, send it to us prior to March 15th so it can be judged. He was a national finalist. The primary author must be a member in good standing. And the abstract, as with the previous abstracts, who was the intended audience? What was the purpose? Tell us the why. How many of these were printed, or how was it accessed? The writing and production of the book, the abstract, send it electronically, and then make sure that the bound book is mailed to the state chair if it exceeds the 25 megabyte limit. So that can be production guides. I know a lot of us do cotton production guides or soybean production guides. It could be training manuals. So maybe you're working with 4-H youth and you're doing a dairy judging manual. So you might want to submit that. Maybe you're doing PQA or BQA with some kids. So you can submit that as well if you have a manual. So oftentimes we hear, I don't know where this information is. I don't know where to look at on the site. This is confusing. So where to go? If you want to find out or view previous entries, all you do is log into the NACAA website and you go to awards and applications. Once you click on awards and applications, you click here on award winners, and it will prompt you to this page. You can set it for any previous year. A lot of these abstract samples that you saw were from 21, 22, and 23. And then you can select whatever category you want to look at. So they have professional excellence, they have search for excellence, they have all the communication sections here as well. And with that being said, thank you guys very much. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to open the floor for questions. So we did that good, huh?
I have some more tips that came up in my mind as we were going forward. So maybe this will trigger some questions. Oh, I see Elizabeth has her hand up. I'll wait. Go ahead.
I was clapping, but sure.
Okay, so one thing for the state chairs, if you are a state chair, you can move your deadline, your state deadline, to March 1st if you wish. You need to let your membership know, but that way, even if they get it in on March 2nd, you can make exceptions. We cannot make exceptions to that March 15th deadline. So that's just one possibility you can do for your state, and send them lots of emails too. Also, the categories and rules can change each year. So even if you applied in a previous year, you want to really dig into the scorecard and the overall description of the category, because that may have changed from a previous year. Also, you won't be disqualified for those abstracts that have hard returns in there, but you can lose some points, and that can make the difference. So those were just a few things that I thought of while we were presenting.
Yeah. And those are good. And then also, please, 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 please make sure you follow the abstract. A lot of these awards, it gets down to 1 to 3 points. So when it gets that close, we go back and we literally go through every part of the abstract to make sure the story is being told, so we can score appropriately. The other thing too, I know in the past, sometimes you guys request a copy of the scorecard. That is okay. If you want to request that from your regional chairs, from your national chairs, state chairs, you can request that. But again, please make sure you adhere to the abstract. And please make sure, don't wait till March 14th. Just get it in early. A lot of us already finished our annual reports, our faculty evaluations, all of that fun stuff. Take your time and go ahead and put it in now. So that way, if you have any questions, we can answer them. We are here to help you in any way we can, but we got to do it before the deadline, because after the deadline, our hands are tied. Also, just a reminder, your application is not submitted or complete if those two boxes are not checked. So in the past, a lot of folks would be like, I submitted it. No, we go back and look in the system and it says pending because you forgot to check that box.
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that all of us are, obviously good resources, but your state chairs are too. I had in the Southern region, probably, around 100 submissions to judge at the regional level, and only one of those got disqualified. It was an event promo package that had 4 attachments instead of 3. The rules specifically state 3. So that just tells me our state judges are doing an awesome job of weeding things out before they get to us, and they really know what they're looking at. So be sure to use your state judges. Your state chairs are really good.
One question that I've heard in the past is for national finalists, but not national winners. Can they resubmit as a national finalist if they have not won as a national winner?
I will turn that question over to Scott, because I have my personal thought on that, but I'll leave it to Scott because I'm pretty sure he's more knowledgeable about that realm than I am, because I'm still learning.
I wouldn't claim my knowledge level is better, but hold on just 1 second. Give me just 1 second.
I just put in the chat too that the state chairs have to approve. So if you've applied for an award, in order to get judged at the regional level, if you are, the states have to pass it on to become in the regional contest. So
And make sure you register for the communications luncheon. If you state winner, regional winner, don't be like me in the past and forget to register. And then at the last minute, I'm like, Scott, can you please add me to the count? But yeah, please make sure that you register. And we understand life happens, but if you're able to come to the conference, at least for one day, it really makes a difference because we have donors and sponsors that provide the financial incentive for certain awards. And the last thing you want to do is really hurt their feelings per se by not being present to show your appreciation.
So I found in the eligibility and judging criteria, it says entry materials that have already been state, regional, or national winners are not eligible again. Says first place national winners may not repeat in consecutive years in the same category.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You can't submit the same thing if you've won a state, regional, or national, or become a state, regional, or national finalist. So that content's kind of done at that point. But unless you are the actual national winner, you yourself can submit some different content in that same category. So that makes sense. And
So
Brittany, you've got a question there.
Yeah, so let's throw this question out there too, to piggyback off of what Scott said. So let's say you do a dairy fact sheet and you're a national finalist. That next year, can you do a dairy fact sheet or can you do a dairy publication? You can submit, but it has to be what's current. So
I would agree with that. You just, modify it a little bit. But I think the key thing is just not to submit the same exact thing. As you said, update it, tweak it a little bit, put in a little bit, some newer data or something to make it to where it's not an exact repeat.
Right. So one question we have is for website online content, submitting for a social media campaign that ran over several social media channels. Can I submit multiple URLs to demonstrate the campaign? I would say yes. We want to be able to access it. We want to be able to see it. So if you can include those in the abstract, still adhering to whatever those specific guidelines are, I would say yes. If it's going to exceed the word count of the abstract, if there is a word count, then put in a Word document, save it as a PDF, and attach it as a supplemental document. My other question in regards to fact sheets and publications, it asks for number distributed. What if those live only on the extension website? Will you be penalized for that? I don't know. We'll have to look into that. I would be clear in your abstract where that is located. And sometimes your tech people for your university or your extension department might be able to tell you how many views that document had. So you want to make sure you reach out to them to get that information if it's accessible.
Yeah, and it's not that you would be penalized, but it's just that if somebody else says, we had 130,000 distribution, that's going to give more points than somebody who doesn't specify how many people saw this web page.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Any more questions, comments, or concerns? All right, now that means everybody in here should submit something. We want to see all y'all names for a communication award. Team, do you have anything else you want to add or chime in? All right.
See everybody in Dallas.
Yeah.
Come to Dallas.
Go to Turkey Leg Hut. I just see it on Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. We hope this information was useful to you. And again, if you need anything, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.